Hey, it's Dave. Welcome back to my channel. That was a Bryan Adams song with the guitar solo played by Keith Scott. Great player. Always just plays like just the right notes. It's a well-written solo. I always loved it. I was playing my white Mexican Strat. That was a Strat that I bought on Craigslist. It was Mexican. I sold the neck. I bought a Warmoth Wenge neck with a ebony fingerboard, and the pickups are the same pickups that I use in my main guitars. It's the Pro 54 in the bridge by DiMarzio and the Area 58s in the neck in the middle. It's a great sounding guitar because the pickups are great, and I really dig it. It is Sunday, which is the one day I get to eat one cheat meal, and I ate Town Spa Pizza in Stoughton, Mass., which is great. If you live in Massachusetts, it's the best. And anyone screaming at the screen right now, yelling at me that Linwood is, you're wrong. There's like a rivalry type of thing that goes on where like 6 different places make the same pizza, and everyone's going to tell you that a different one is the best. But it's the Spa, and don't let anyone tell you differently. And it was good. Extra sauce, burnt edges. Oh, it's so good. It's good once a week. Something to look forward to and to treat myself to. I was looking at the sticker here, NYXL from DiMarzio, and I really love these strings. I think they set in at a great time. Like it doesn't take a long time to stretch them to where they're good, and they last a longer time, and I really dig them. It's funny, a friend of mine put on some Ernie Balls the other day on his bass, and he called me up. He hated it. He's like asking me a million questions about bass strings. And I'm like, why am I suffering listening to these questions? I'm like, I restrung his other bass, and he loved it. And I put DiMarzio on. So I'm like, why didn't you just buy DiMarzio, the same strings that I put on your bass? Well, it's an Ernie Ball bass. And I'm just like, ugh. Anyways, he hated it and drove me nuts about it. And so that's going to change, those strings. It's funny. People are always like about strings. They're like, everyone has their preference of what it is, of like what to use and everything. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a big difference. In fact, it's the main difference on the guitar is the pickups and the strings. The strings, being the material made from the strings, is what makes up the mass of the strings, which generally is what is the sound of the guitar, in my opinion, based in fact. You can call me an ass and say, no, it's the wood. I don't care. Shut up. It doesn't matter. Anyways, but the strings are really important. So, and the difference also, like even guitars that use forced resonance, like an acoustic guitar. In one of my very early videos, I talked about the difference between phosphor bronze and 80-20 bronze. Now, 80-20 is 80% copper and 20% tin. Phosphor bronze is like 92% copper, 7% tin, and 1% phosphorus. So it doesn't oxide the strings because it has such a high copper and low tin content. But because of the low tin content, it's also a warmer string. It's a darker sounding string. And personally, I don't really care for it. When you hear like Taylor guitars and they're so clear, they're strung with 80-20 Elixir strings. Now, I'm not going to tell you which companies wind strings for Elixir. I can just tell you it's not Elixir. But there are other string companies that manufacture strings for them. And then Elixir puts the Gore-Tex coating on it, which is basically what it says on the back, Gore Technologies. But it's basically Gore-Tex that they put on it, a form of it. And, you can get the nano or the polyweb, whatever the thick or the thin. Personally, I'm not a big fan of coated strings. Why? I feel like when they play a little bit, they start to chip, and it's just, I just don't like it. I'd rather just I'll just change my strings more often. It's okay. But, and also I like the strings to vibrate, and anything that's dampening the strings is going to change the way it becomes the mass of the string, really, and changes it. And I'm not really too keen on it. So, in that respect, but I really do, I like 80-20s. You know, and then there's some guitars, if you play an acoustic guitar and it sounds too thin and bright, which Koa acoustics do to me. They sound very bright. I would then recommend putting phosphor bronze strings on it because that'll darken it out. And it's a good thing. But anyway, so yeah, I was just thinking about that as I looked over here and I saw these NYXLs. I think they're excellent strings. In fact, I haven't played a set that I like better. And the guys at Stereo are great guys, and they're a good company, and I recommend them. I mean, I'm sure the guys at Ernie Ball are good company, good guys, and I'm sure the guys over at Dean Markley are good guys, and GHS. But whatever, these are good guys, and I think they make the best string. And it's just my opinion. Take it with whatever you want. A shot of bourbon would be good. But yeah. So you know, I bought this Zoom camera, and I haven't really been able to do anything with it yet. And I'm thinking about doing like some type of thing where I get a bunch of musicians around. I know a bunch of guys around here that smoke cigars, and do like a cigar lounge / guitar talk type of thing. And I think that would be cool. And let me know what you think about that idea. But I'm thinking about that. That'd be something to do. And if anyone's watching this and they're in the Boston area and want to get involved in it, you can also message me. And this is my email's also in the it's in the description of the page. And also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Dave Levine. I think it's, I don't know if it's at Dave Levine. I have no idea how Instagram works, but it's Dave_Levine. I'll put it down here. And then I believe I'm at the Big Angry on Twitter, if you want to follow me on Twitter. But those two things, you know, I'm constantly posting stuff, pictures of guitars and clips from what upcoming episodes of what's going on. So I think that would be pretty cool. But I will do something with the Zoom soon where I'm thinking about that idea, especially with the warm weather coming around, to be kind of a cool thing to do. And also I'd like to get some more clips of my band live playing. I think that would be good. Which there already is one. If you watch, there's like us doing, with the duo, there's us doing Dave Mason's We Just Disagree, and then Pogo's Crazy Love, which are cool songs. I have no idea. I took this pickup out of a guitar that Leo Scala had wired for me, and I swapped it with the Fred. I have no idea what this DiMarzio pickup is. And it must be an old one because it just says on the back, DiMarzio pickups made in USA. But I don't know. If anybody knows, I'll show you. It's they're not screws. It's like both sides are slugs. It's very bizarre. Never seen anything like this. You know, DiMarzio usually has the Allen wrench on one side, Allen wrench, or it has the screw in the slugs. This is both sides slugs. So if somebody thinks they know what pickup this is, please let me know. I'm curious. Yeah. So I did that song today because the friend that actually asked me to do Breakdown Dead Ahead named a couple of songs to open the show with, and I was like, Cuts Like a Knife is a great one because it's such a cool song. And then he asked me to do Forever Man, which I've played before, which, you know, I probably will do it. But it's not one of my favorites. Well, it's a good Clapton solo. You know, I've gone on about Clapton, and I really like him as an artist. As a guitar player, I don't care. Like, he doesn't, you know, like if you're like a pianist and you play piano, you can love Elton John for his songs, but you don't have to think he's a great piano player, and by any stretch, just because a bunch of people in Cream magazine go, he's the best. Not that Elton John would be in Cream. But my singer and I were talking yesterday about, remember the old Cream magazine where it'd be like, best drummer, Peter Criss, second best drummer, John Bonham, third best, Carl Palmer from ELP. Bonham and Carl Palmer must have been looking at that magazine going, are they out of their mind? Also, it looks like it's a 2-conductor, not a 4-conductor from DiMarzio. This is going to be an old pickup. Again, if somebody knows what it is, confusing to me. It wasn't bad. I like the Fred. The Fred has been my go-to humbucker since like 91. Before it was even associated with Joe Satriani, a buddy of mine and I were trying out, he had a bunch of PAFs, and we were trying out a bunch of pickups to go against the PAF, and I saw they had a green Fred. And I'm like, oh, I'll try that. So I put it in a guitar, and I loved it. And since then, I had put in Freds in almost everything. And now I have it in... the only guitar I have that has a humbucker that's not a Fred is the Transition in my Red Strat, and that's a Steve Lukather DiMarzio pickup. And it sounds good. You know, it's funny. It doesn't sound good in my Fender, but in my Rectiverb, it sounds pretty great. So... you know, I know he plays them through Bogner's, but through Fender, it just sounds, it's not a good pickup. Whereas the Fred sounds good in both a Fender, in the cleans, and it also sounds good in an overdriven high gain amp or even a medium gain. It just sounds good. I really highly recommend, if you haven't tried the Fred, to try it. They say the resistance on it is like 10.05 or something crazy like that. But I own and I have owned probably in combination about 15 of them, and every one on a meter measured like right around 9.5. So I don't know where they're getting their number from, but mine measure at about 9.5, and they're all pretty close, but they're not coming close to 10. So I don't know where they get that number. Again, on Instagram, it's... And you could follow me on Twitter. And again, once again, I thank you for coming to my channel, watching what I have to say, giving me love. I appreciate it. And very good.
Really, all it really does is tell us that there's some other laws of nature that we don't yet understand because our knowledge is limited. It's always limited. There's always a little bit more. It's sort of like thinking about that the magic of today is the science of tomorrow.
You're right on target. You're right on the money. Everything you said. You hit the nail right on the head with your comments, what you're saying today. You're 150% correct.